In this lecture, we're going to be looking at the strategy tester, which is a free tool provided by all MT4 platforms. In order to get to the MetaTrader tester, all you do is you click on View, then Strategy Tester, and the strategy tester will open. I'll go through all the items on the strategy tester to give you a better feel of what is involved. The first item that is input is the expert advisor that you're going to be using. Now I've got a couple loaded here and I'm selecting the Magic MA expert advisor. Then I'm going to select the currency that I want to test, and in this particular case I'm going to be testing the pound yen. You can then decide which testing model you're going to use. There are three options. The one is every tick, the most precise method, control points, which I very seldom used, it's a very crude method, and then open prices method, and that method is only used if decision making takes place on the close or open of a candle. With this particular EA, decision making takes place on the open or close of a candle, so we can use this particular way of testing. It is much faster than the every tick way, and we can actually back the results up that we find, which you'll see later on as we go through the testing. You can also select the period that you want to test, and at the moment I'm testing from the 1st of October 2013 to the 30th of September 2014, which is a full year period. I'm using that because the quality of the data that I have is quite good over that particular period. You can then look at the testing in visual mode, and we will do that later on in the course so that you can actually follow the trading as it is happening. Then if we look to the right, we'll see there's a tab for expert properties. If you click on that, you will see the Magic MA's, the input screen, and the testing details and optimization tab. So I'll go through those in a little bit more detail later on. You then have the symbol properties. I'm not going to click on that. That basically gives you the properties of the symbols that you're going to be using, and you then also can choose which period you want the test to run on. I want our test to run on the 15-minute chart, so I've selected 15 minutes, but you can actually select any chart you want. 15 minutes is most appropriate to the test that we're going to do, and why I've chosen that time frame is that there's less slippage when the price moves over the moving average using a shorter time frame. When you use longer time frames and your decision making is made on the close of the candle, long candles can result in considerable slippage. Then you can either use the market spread for that particular currency, or you can stipulate a spread. I'm stipulating 5 pips as my spread for the pound yen. That seems to be representative of an average of most brokers. There is also an option here to optimize your test data, and I will go into that in a little bit more detail as we move on. And then the modify expert button I'm not going to go into, and that is for mainly for programmers who use the tester to test their programming and correct some of the programming. The open chart function is that after you have run a test, you can actually see the results on charts, which is very, very useful. So that's basically the Forex tester. So let's go back to the expert properties. I'll just click that to open the expert properties, and we then get a menu showing most of the input for this particular EA. Let's have a look at the testing tab. The testing tab allows you to put in the initial deposit that you want to put in for your account that you're going to be used for the testing. I would recommend a large account because we want to include all possibilities in our testing and optimization, so a large account will do quite nicely. The optimization side, the way we're going to be testing is we do not need the genetic algorithm. The genetic algorithm basically will take 1 million testing options and reduce it down to a manageable amount. We are not going to be using that. We want to see all the results, so I'm going to untick that particular box. The inputs consist of two sections. The one section is the value column, and those are the values that your EA will use to run tests on. So if we run a test on this particular EA setting at the moment, we will get one result which will only look at the settings that are currently in that particular column. If you want to do optimization, then the next three columns come into place, and the three columns are start, step, and stop. So for instance, if I wanted to optimize the MA period setting, I would for instance say start at 100, increase it by 100, and stop when you reach 1000. So there will be most probably 10 settings tested within that range. It can then test a whole lot of other settings at the same time, so you can get literally millions of combinations all at the same time. The bigger the number of combinations, the longer your optimization exercise is going to take, and some of them take days if the number is pretty high, and you are using the every tick method of testing. This will all become a lot clearer once we do the practical testing and optimization exercises. But just remember, there are two functions to this. There's the testing function that happens based on input on this column, and there's the optimization function that happens as a result of input in these columns. To activate any of these optimization settings, you need to tick which columns you want to optimize. If none are ticked, no optimization will occur, and that allows you to optimize one item at a time or two items at a time, which allows you to optimize a lot faster. I found the best way of learning how the strategy tester works is to actually use it, and that's what we're going to be doing pretty soon in the next lectures. This was just a brief introduction to the strategy tester, and we'll learn a lot more about it as we use it.